Evening. This is Correro, the arena of a fearless political conversation. I am Godwin Sunday. Across Nigeria, the just concluded by-elections have not only produced winners and losers, but it has also produced what we call, it has also exposed the strength and weakness of our electoral processes as we look ahead for 2027. These by-elections are often described as mini tests for INEC, the political parties, and the voters themselves, while technology like Beavers and IREF has promised greater transparency. Reports of low voters turnout, logistical hiccups, and isolated cases of violence remind us that the journey to credible elections is far from over. To help us make sense of these results that we've seen so far and what it means for the future of Nigerian, we have in the studio Robert Ak Ubede, the AMAC APC youth leader. He will be sharing his perspective on the challenges reviewed by the by-elections and prospects for a stronger electoral process in Nigeria. But before we delve into the conversation, we will take a short break. And when we return, we will delve into the conversation to find out what is even going on within the FCT and the various issues around the by-elections. Please stay with us as the show continues after this break. All right, welcome back. Well, with me in the studio is the AMAC APC youth leader in the person of Robert Akubede, and we'll be talking about some of the issues about the by-elections and by extension, issues that borders on the Federal Capital Territory. But first, you're welcome to Correro.
Thank you, Godwin, for having me in your studio.
All right, so let's delve into the conversation as it were right now. First, there have been speculations that the whole elections that brought in the person of the current AMAC chairman has not been free and fair. It does not represent the all progressive mindset. But then, you are in the All Progressive Congress right now. Bring us up to speed. How was the election that brought in the current Zaka Christopher into office? Is it free, fair, and credible?
Good evening, my fellow youths and Nigerians in general. You know, when I oppose issues like this, I approach issues like this not from the angle of being partisan, or from the angle of being a Nigerian first. Because Nigeria, being a Nigerian, we are guided by a constitution. And Nigeria gave room for parties to have their own constitutions too. APC have the constitution, PDP have the constitution. What happened in the process of the emergence of Honorable Christopher Zaka Mekelegu was the instrument, or was the giving of the party constitution, that is the APC constitution as amended 2022. It gave room for direct, indirect, and consensus. So when I was a pillar, and I was pivotal to the whole procedure before the process commenced, and we saw it through that that whatever infractions that may have happened before now will not have happened again. What we sense, or what we, the party or the progressive, believe was that how could somebody the camp and in less than 2 months is vying for a ticket? Its emergence was because the no, is the coming to our party was because he had it all through and knew that if it does not align with the government in the center, it may not get the dividends of democracy to the grassroots. Him, even having been in PDP, was doing his best to trickle down development that could be seen all over Amak. I won't sit and mentioning his project now. The number project he has executed. You know, he didn't fit and felt if I join the progressive or join the progressive party as a ruling party, I could harness more and consolidate more on the renewal agenda of Mr. President. That was why I came to our party. And that was what led to his reception massively. Because we told the truth. We've had chairmans in the past, which of them have done well for the youth. We have chairman in the past, which of them have empowered the young women more. We've had chairmans in the past, which of them have executed rural projects. So we didn't make fit and said, okay, if you want to be in our party, when you come to our party, you'll be welcome. And we'll do all things possible to make sure that you emerge and continue the goodwill and the good governance initiative that you have been implementing in your first tenure. That was the essence of his emergence. So it's not an issue of it's not an issue maybe there was ma or no ma. The process that brought him to be the chairman was a free and fair process.
Well, you've said it's a free and fair election, but then when we go through AMAC in general and look at the various APC structure, it tends to be that one sector of the APC tend to approve his endorsement so far against the other parties. Prospects that are also contested in the election right now, the likes of Akande and the rest of them that contested in that election. Can we say at this point that the election that brought in Mekalangu into office, that's bringing him into contesting for the 2026 AMAC election, is the will of the All Progressive Congress in general, as against what we're seeing right now, even from aggrieved members of the party?
I represent the largest constituency of voters in AMAC, the youth and young women. The name you just mentioned, prior to the election, I went to him and endorsed him as his own preferred candidate. How do you define a person that said went for election? That means it seems even the journalists don't even know, don't even have the fact before they portray informations. If you have called the people that have contacted with him, that bought forms, and if either of them had never endorsed him, I would say, okay, maybe the party is having disunity or the party is not united. But as it is today, the name you mentioned, had endorsed him before the contest. And he stood a better ground such that I admire his will of politics. That is the person of Honorable Chris Zaka Mekalangu. It looks beyond party affiliation. He unites the people. He reaches out to the youth. He reaches out to the unions. He's destabilizing nature. That was why he's coming to APC. We see it as a plus for us to project and and integrate the agenda of the president to the grassroots. Remembering what happened at the emergence of Professor Natawi as chairman of APC, if you read through his speech, it was emphatic. Then I saw the reason why President Tinubu brought him in to be the chairman of the party. He said, we want to take this party back to the grassroots. We want the grassroots to own this party. And Chris being in PDP, that has been his pillar and his agenda how to his first term. If it goes through, if it crosses across board, is it water? Is it schools? And the recent salary, minimum wage issues that it was able to champion and ratified, and all the staff and workers of Amak now are smiling. So, if you say that people are aggrieved, nobody's aggrieved, sir. You know, if somebody's aggrieved is ought to be in written or in petition, not by going around propagating and giving a press conference. We've not received any statement from any aggrieved party, and as it stands today, the party is as united as never. APC Institute is as united and strong and more formidable to win the election than ever. We have never had this kind of unity that we're having now in FCT as it is today.
So invariably, you're saying at this point in time that the president of Christopher Zakak May Kalangu coming into the party has even been an added advantage to the party right now, if I get you correctly.
It's an added advantage, and beyond even added advantage, it has made APC more prominent in FCT than ever before.
So we can say at this point in time that APC adopting him and also taking him into the party definitely means that the party is internally destabilized because it doesn't have a structure even within the FCT, and it's trying to bring in Zaka Christopher Bay Kalangu in order to mitigate these gaps that the party lacks.
If you talk about structure, who are the structure?
Well, of course, most people from other parties will say that the Labour Party holds a very strong and formidable force within the FCT, and also PDP has been able to set the record straight within the FCT. And right now, going through to APC simply means that the APC is trying to build a formidable structure. Prior to this time, the APC does not have a formidable structure. Can this be correct to say that the APC prior to this time does not have a structure within the Federal Capital Territory?
We did have a structure. What FCT represents is liberal voters. When I mean liberal voters, it's people that have choices between parties to make. It's beyond party affiliation. What Zaka was able to do was that he was able to bring those elements and those influence from Labour Party or from the now coalition. I may not know the name to give them because it is right now they are displaced and dispersed.
Now you're sounding like the Federal Capital Territory, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, person of Nyesom Wike. Well, let's just take it as
it is what it is. You know, we are realists. Like I said, FCT represents liberal voters, intelligent voters. We are more informed than any other state. That was why no other president has won an election year before. But I bet you, come 2027, President Ahmed Tinubu is going to win APC massively. Not because it's an APC member. He has done what another president had never done before. He brought the indigent closer. He gave them equal representation in the Federal Executive Council, and they're happy for it. And that was what led to the Kesemwa Mekalagu joining the fold because the kinsmen called him to order. I said, if this person, if the president, I had seen us well and given us this privilege opportunity to have a representative in the Federal Executive Council, please, the best gift you can give him, is for us to galvanize, mobilize, and engage the people to make sure that he get the maximum vote from SUT. And bringing even Excellency Barrister as minister has even make it more easier. You can see the numerous projects that they have done, complementing what the chairman of Lucas too are doing. So who will have said that the best president that have ever done well for FCT is not Tinubu? I can debate it any day, anywhere. Zaka joining APC is far beyond our advantage. This is what the progressive have been lacking in SUT. We've had previous chairmen, but no cohesion around the various tribes, around the various colonies, around the various power blocks. They call them camps in their local palace. I represent a block. I'm a youth leader, like I said before. So you don't tell me that if Zaka joining our fold is not commendable, I will not stand firm and not defend my constituency. I saw it through. I read through the line. I read through the parts. I said this is the best thing vis-a-vis the development he has done. Vis-a-vis what you can see on ground. Beyond politics, I'm a businessman, and I see how the rural economy has been improved upon in the city because of his rural projects executed. Not just projects, sustainable projects. So Zaka joining our fold in APC and coordinating on President Bola Tinubu's agenda is the best that happened to APC. And I bet you, sir, there's nobody, there's no party that can stand the force that will emerge and give the largest vote to Tinubu come 2027.
Well, before you get to even 27, let's talk about 2026 and some of the potential it holds for the country and across Nigeria. When you look at the various generality of the elections, by-elections that happened even recently, how will you assess the elections even coming from the INEC position? Was it free, fair, and credible?
If I could get it real quick and right from introduction, you said the after effect of the elections and the response from what this election have done is to expose the opposition, is to expose their weakness the more. When the election was conducted, the past obstacle election conducted, President Tinubu was not in the country. So you wouldn't say the election was influenced because APC is here and PDP is there and ADC was there. No. It was an intentional thing that we did to see the strength of the opposition. And I want to thank the electoral empire.
Now, before you even thank the electoral empire for even conducting election, a lot of speculations have said and allegations have tried to label the electoral umpire to be another wing of the All Progressive Congress because they tend to dance to the tune of the All Progressive Congress. But how correct is this narrative when you begin to assess the various elections, looking at the various alleged kidnappings, a lot of vote buying in the recent election that was conducted in the by-election? Does this even project Nigerian ready for the 2026 and 2027 elections when you look at it from your own perspective?
Addressing this issue, sometimes I go emotional. When you say the electoral empire is being biased or is being
well, it's an allegation that's been tabled that the electoral empire has been another wing of the All Progressive Congress. It's an allegation.
That is the issue I want to address now.
Oh, please.
And get it clear. If you look at the settings of Kano politics, prior to that election, either a week or a month ago, His Excellency Musa Kwankwaso had come to criticize the government of President Tinubu as being biased, as being one-sided, as being Southerner and non-Northerner. So if you now look at the results that comes from the Kano election, this off-cycle election, will you say if a government is INEC is biased and is partisan, won't the government would the government of the day have instilled authority that said, okay, please, you must declare an APC party the winner? But that didn't happen. We don't discuss issues when there's no issue.
Well, we look at about the size of the election so far.
Same thing happened in Anambra.
When we look at the size of Anambra, is just an exception because Anambra it's regarded to be an ABGA state. But we look at some of the states right now, taking it from
it's traditionally ABGA states.
Yeah. So we look at it.
I can bet you.
We look at it from even taking it from Edo State, where we saw what played out in Edo State, even and other states across the federation. It tends to be that the narrative is correct, but then you are within the All Progressive Congress, and I'm asking, putting it to you in this form, is it at this point? Can we say that Nigerians are safe with the 2026 and 2027 elections by what has just played out, by what we've seen so far?
No, the electoral empire may have their own infractions, may have their own shortcomings, operational shortcomings, but what it is, I'm telling you now, if Anambra is ABGA, Kano is NPP, and Edo is APC, and these three
Oyo is PDP.
Oyo is PDP. And these four major parties were able to galvanize, mobilize, and go there to win election. How will you say that INEC is an arm of APC? Please, it's an aberration. We do that statement. I wouldn't take that for a go. Please, that statement should not be out anywhere.
Well, it's an allegation, by the way, so it's not enough. We've not yet confirmed or tried to even look away from that statement. A lot of Nigerians have come out to say that INEC is trying to play the blueprint of the All Progressive Congress.
It's not true.
As it stands right
it's
now.
Not true.
Okay, let me get you react to it. So when we talk about these by-elections so far across the federation, should we at this point say that this is what is to be expected come 2027?
I like your line of introduction before we dive into this topic, and I was so amazed. I couldn't just stop smiling when you were doing the introduction. Power to President Tinubu's emergence. Before he became president, we are down the road 2 years. After 2 years, we are over 2 years down the road now. And coming up to this stage, Nigeria might have gone through some stages of economic turmoil and troubles and indecision. But for the first time, a president came and stood his ground and said, this is what we want, this is what the people want, and this is what the people demand. And every candidate of all the political parties campaigned in the same line that they were going to remove subsidy. He did that. And he financed and he empowered the state more and local government. He had implemented and ratified the local government autonomy. Given that there's enough funds now to trickle down to the grassroots, what are the governors doing? What are the governors doing? They wouldn't want it to work because it will weaken their own strength and power. And we all emerge from a world being a local government. So President Tinubu, I will say it to Nigerians today, that is an intentional president, and he has come to set Nigeria on a path of greatness. That if a coalition will be coaliting 2 months after he was swelling, as he was swaying as president, that means they never wanted him as president in the first place. That is my issue with the coalition. When they were asked, for how long have you been coaliting? He said they were coaliting over 18 months ago. So just imagine the narrative. Do you think the issues, the economic downturn, or the infrastructure deficit that we have could have been taken care of in 2 months? That means from a day ago, they never wanted him to be president.
All right, so let's return you back to the conversation around these whole by-elections and what has played out, even before we talk about the whole process of the whole voters registration as it's where right now. Let's look at the by-election again. Are you saying at this point that the election and the electionary process was not marred with any form of irregularity in your own assessments?
Electoral process is an area I'm very conversant with. I know is comings and incoming. I want to say today is that we cannot eliminate youth agitation or interest from any electoral process. Even in the last marriage that happened in Amak, I felt it first hand.
No, we'll come back to Almac. Let's not even go back to.
I'm saying, I'm using myself as an example.
Let's just look at the by-elections in general.
I'm saying,
because we are coming back to Almac.
No, the issue of
that's the bulk of the conversation.
No, the issue of insecurity is a broad.
We're going to look at Almac, the bulk of the conversation, even this evening, because there are a lot of speculations that have tend to surround a lot of electoral process in Almac. But then let's get you react even to the by-elections. Was it marred with a lot of irregularities, or it was a smooth, free, fair, and credible elections?
No, I will give kudos to INEC.
Was it free? Was it fair? Was it credible?
It was free.
When you look at the electoral umpire, when you look at the people that came out to vote, when you look at the process that brought in various stakeholders within the political space, can we say at this point that it was free, fair, and credible?
No.
Because a lot of youths are looking up to you to even be able to ascertain the credibility of the election. Was it free? Was it fair? Was it credible?
It was free, credible. But the fair, that is the aspect of the security. That said, I could give the fair 70%. Fair in the sense that majority could have their say, but the minority will have the minority will have their way, but the minority will have their say. What I want to say in the sense that when we have two contenders for a position, there must be infraction. You cannot ascertain that it is fair. Totally. Fair in the sense that every party went on the streets, mobilized voters. You could not see me voting for an ABGA, and you being an ADC will feel happy or feel free with what happening, even with what happened in other states. They were both members of the same political circle.
Well. Let's even go.
So now, no, please let me dive in a little.
Please go ahead.
What happened in Anambra State? You remember the same political circle. It was politics of necessity that gave room for the ladies to emerge from different political parties, giving it to ABGA and giving it to ADC. To the extent that even an opposition leader in the person of Mr. Peter Obi went and campaigned for an ADC party, to make a party. And I can give it to them that what happened in that election, 72% of the security reports came from Anambra. You can't hear the same thing that happened in Anambra in Kano. You can't hear the Anambra in Edo State. Because they were members of the same political family, starting from the same position. And that is why you can't take interest from whatever place in the last election.
Well, let's even leave that conversation as it were on that particular point of view. Well, we'll go for this short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking more with Robert, even in the studio, who is the AMAC chairman. We'll talk more even after this break. Please stay with us as the show continues in a moment. All right, welcome back, and we're still talking about the various by-elections across the country. But then, let's even look at the process that even brings about this by-election, which is the voters' registration across the country, and how far they've gone with it, and how are Nigerians reacting to it. Well, I'm still talking with Robert, the person of AMAC and Youth APC leader, who is having this conversation with me, and we're trying to look at all of this conversation on the registration, how far we've gone so far. But Robert, let me bring this conversation to your table. A lot of people within your constituency, looking at it, taking it from Nyanya down to Karo, down to Jikoi, down to Orozo, and ending it around the axis of let's even take it at Orozo and Karishi, which is the end part of that destination, before we turn back to Apo and coming back to the other access. So just to show you that I've been able to study through that access. A lot of people will say that they've not been able to register for the INEC registrations, ongoing online registrations right now due to poor internet services. Let's get you react to this, even from the youth angle. How far has the registration been, and how have you been able to ensure that people within your constituency are able to register for the elections? Is there a registration point that has been created, or we should surrender our wheel again to INEC, even coming from this angles that is surrounded by mountains and or other situations within that access?
I want to thank the President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his effort to scrutinize and enable more Nigerians to vote. This process was intentional. What happened on 18 was intentional, because there have been agitation from across board. That some people have changed locations, some people have attained the age of 18, I don't want to get a voter's card. You know, before I criticize the government, I don't criticize because I'm a member of the party, or I'm not a stakeholder, or I'm a stakeholder in the party. People that knows me very well know me as a liberal politician. There are days I've looked to the policies of the government and criticized it, and they resolve to having it amended and changed. We'll do that in everybody. What is happening in the electoral system is intentional, and I want to give the government of the day a thumbs up for what they are doing. When the date was announced, 18th, we adopted the technology the first purpose reason why people do that because they said it will be easy, accessible, as if for people to come into the fold. Before adopting tech, the numbers of voters were 20% 20% overboard. Like we have now, with like 30% of the number that we have now. So if INEC announced a date and said, okay, please go online, go on mobile for a week, try to sort out whatever issue you have on with the voters or having to register as a new voter. Then people go around criticizing the government of the day and said there are infractions, there are glitches. It's not true, sir. I went online. In my family, in my house, my wife has a voter's card. They wanted to transfer from a polling unit to another polling unit. I did it for her with my own mobile phone, and I got
Honorable Robert, let's not even say from that angle. A lot of people that are staying within the hills, the mountains of Abuja.
That's why.
Let's even take it.
That is where I'm diving.
Rozo down to Karishi. You know how terrible that network can be.
That is where. That is the area I'm going to.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I did it, and I got a result. I get my reference code. Directing her to go for capturing and physical documentation. The next day, I got an email from INEC inviting the parties structure to come for training. And I've been gone for that meeting. That is INEC. I'm talking about INEC now. INEC called the Electoral Institute of INEC, called some blocks and said, okay, please send in some of ad hoc staff. Let's train them. So in case they're finding it difficult for them to assess or enroll more people in this process. That will tell you that they're intentional. INEC is not partisan. That's why they could call the Muslim, call the Christian, call PDP, call ADC, and call APC and say, okay, please send in your representative and they will get trained and equip well to go and participate in this process.
Invariably, you're saying that within the political space and within the All Progressive Congress, the PDP and the APGA, the SDP, the ADC, there are no structures even trying to facilitate the process for which voters can even get access to registration as it stands now.
Exactly.
There are no platforms. There is no avenue. There is no form of a hub for voters to be able to ameliorate their sufferings that they've been having, even coming from the old axis of Orozo and Karishi, which falls under your jurisdiction as the APC youth leader.
It is what it is. The budgets of INEC will not allow INEC to send all their CRV of CVR.
So should these people at this point begin to relocate? Or
no, it's not relocating.
So what should they do at this point in time?
The location where the CVR office is located is seamless for anybody to come there and be captured.
I'm talking about the online registration, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That is if you cannot have it done on a mobile phone.
Okay.
Properly. You can actually get down to the center and get registered.
So from the point of the party, there is no hope for people within this locality, if I get you correctly.
No, there's hope. That was what I just explained to you.
Yeah, I understood you. I'm just trying to get if there are locations for them. When you say that I want to get you correctly. If there are dead locations for these people to go to, register, get accredited or something of that nature as it stands right now, for even assistance from political parties, even from the youth angle, knowing fully well that you represent a large percentage of the AMAC youth members, even coming from the All Progressive Congress, and other youth leaders who want to work with you, knowing fully well that Malangu, Zaki, Christopher has moved to the All Progressive Congress. Is there hope for the AMAC youth at this point in terms of registration, even when they don't have internet services?
No, there's hope. As at yesterday, there were provision for world leaders and chairman and secretary of the parties, not just APC, I'm talking now across board now, interparty, to galvanize and mobilize their members to come to the CRV center and get it captured before next week, Monday.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for finding our time, Robert Akab Ogbede, for even being on the show today. I would appreciate you for your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go even on the show today. Do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently displayed on the screen. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.